What's going on, man? It's your boy Kurt and I'm back with another video, man. Look, if I'm not starting somewhere, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. Look. All right, so if you typically watch my sneaker reviews, then you know I typically have a certain process that I do. But if you watch my past video where I unboxed a bunch of shoes that someone from Saucony sent me, then you know most of those shoes came without boxes. Actually, all of those shoes came without boxes. They weren't necessarily new. So I feel like I didn't necessarily want to do a whole review where I go into depth. You know, I get first impressions, like I open the box, you know, I scan the shoe, talk about the shoe, just because, like, again, I'm not saying I'm not grateful for that, but it's like I didn't receive a box. These are not the final product. This is actually samples that I received. So I just want to get straight to the point, talk about my experience in this shoe. And again, that shoe is going to be the Saucony Progrid Omni 9, the J-Tip collaboration, the shoe I was begging for, almost dating back when they just got announced. I want to say that was back in either February of last year or March of last year. I think it was February though. Like, I've been begging, I've been wanting this shoe. I had somebody in New York standing in line for me for these shoes. They waited for about maybe an hour or two, got inside, they sold out in this pair because I think this is a pair that I truly like the best. But again, this is gonna be the Saucony Progrid Omni 9, the J-Tip, the to-do list sneaker. Like, what can I say, bro? I'm not even gonna spend time on this. You already know this sneaker was in high rankings across the board. So whether it came to Complex, Hypebeast, Nice Kicks, every sneaker platform or anywhere where people talk about sneakers that happened in 2024, they had these somewhere in there, whether it was the best sneaker that dropped last year, whether it was the best collab, whether it was, you know, X, Y, and Z, whether it was, you know, QR, like whatever the case may be, everyone loved these. And I think that is really a testament to what people can do when the right person collabs with the right brand. And like I mentioned in Cloth Talk, and like I mentioned before when I talked about these shoes, it is so crazy to me that a brand like Saucony, like this is like, you know, maybe going back a few years, like maybe 5 or 6 years, like people weren't rocking Sauconys, bro. Let alone people weren't lining up around the block to buy Sauconys, bro. So like, it just shows you how great of a sneaker this truly is. Like, you can say, yeah, you know, J-Tips has a following, he has a fan base, they're gonna buy whatever he does. But like, everyone's getting this shoe, bro. Either it be this colorway, either it be the tan colorway, or even just the other ones he's done. Like, you're not just getting that support just because people rock with you. Like, you have to at some point really like the product to even spend the 150, 160, or, you know, 170 price tag that people pay for these shoes. Like, whatever the case may be, whether you bought it retail or resale, you put some money and you spent some time to, you know, purchase these shoes. So you're not just buying these because like, oh yeah, man, I rock with J-Tips, he the homie. Like, no. When you work and you spend your hard-earned money to buy something, you're buying it more than just, oh, that's the homie. Like, you're buying it because like, I rock with the product, I also rock with the person, and I think that it marries well together. So again, that's all the rant I'm gonna go on. I'm just gonna go straight into it. Let's talk about sizing. Now again, the person from Saucony that reached out to me told me he had a bunch of 9s. They didn't have 9.5s. As y'all know, I typically rock 9.5s in most of my sneakers. I do have some 9s, but I feel like it depends on the silhouette. But most of my sneakers are 9.5s. So again, I try to make these reviews for people who currently have this in their cart and they're trying to figure out what size do I get. Me personally, although this shoe does have this honeycomb meshing up the top, although most of the shoe does have like meshing on the side panels and all that, allowing more room for comfortability, I personally would have preferred a 9.5. I wore this all last week in the gym, sitting around the house, running errands, doing long drives. It fits. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the only case I think you shouldn't go with your true size, so like again, for me, I'm a 9.5. The only case I will make for me going to, if I went to purchase a 9, would be if I walk into a sneaker shop, I see they got them. I already really wanted these sneakers. I see them in a sneaker shop. I'm like, hey, y'all got those in a 9.5? The person behind the cash register says, nah, we don't got them in a 9.5, but we got them in a 9. In that instance, I would have been like, let me see that 9 real quick. And I probably would have bought them because like they do fit. Like, my foot comes all the way up here. But again, with all this meshing along the shoe, it allows for the shoe to kind of expand a little bit. So like, they're not uncomfortable. They're not terrible. I can still rock them, but I think for comfort wise and what would have made more sense for me is if I got a 9.5 in these. I think this would have been like my ideal shoe. But again, I don't want to say that these don't fit. It's just that I would have preferred a little extra. So from my experience, I think these are true to size. Again, that is my experience. I know people have different foot shapes, different, foot types, whether it be narrow, wider, whether your big toe bigger than your pinky toe, or if your pinky toe bigger than your big, whatever the case may be, everyone's gonna have a different experience. In my experience, the 9.5 would have worked better, but I do fit the 9, and I have been rocking it. I rocked it for a full week in the gym. I've rocked it, pairing it with fits. I've rocked it, like, I've put some time into these shoes, and I think the 9.5 would have been better. Now let's talk about comfortability. These are really comfortable. I don't really have much to add there. I think I could literally just end the video right there. But I love. Okay, but no, seriously. These are comfortable. Again, most Saucony shoes, like when I talked about the Saucony Progrid Triumph 4 or 9, or I think it's the Triumph 4 in this video. When I talked about those shoes, I put in the title, my most current comfortable sneaker. Like, it's the most comfortable sneaker that I currently had in my closet at the time. And I still have those sneakers similar to the Triumph 4, the Omni 9, mad comfortable, bro. And I just think that like everything that goes into this shoe with the meshing and then also like the inside, like everything is mad comfortable. I haven't had a single bad experience with Saucony so far. And I have like now 8 pairs of Sauconys. So if you're looking for comfort, and you're not really necessarily worried about it's a Jordan 1 or it's a Samba, like if you're looking for comfort, I think across the board, every Saucony that I've touched, worn, and had the experience to like hear other people talk about is comfortable. So like, again, I don't have much to add here. I've rocked these in the gym, been on drives, ran errands, sat around the house. Like, these are mad comfortable, even though they're not even my right size. I think, again, the fact that they're not my right size and I haven't had a single complaint about like it being uncomfortable really makes sense. Like, I'm getting into like 5 hours, 6 hours of wear time and not really reaching a point where I'm like, my foot hurt. Like in other videos, I get to a point, whether it be at the 4 hour mark, the 5 hour mark, I get to a point where I'm just like, I could take these off now. But again, I think the part that plays a big hand in these being comfortable is this meshing up top, all that airflow coming in, the insole being comfortable as well. Like, again, it's not too thick. It's not really like the most cushion, but I think the aspect down here, whether it be like the aspect of shock absorption or whatever, like it really is a comfortable sneaker. And honestly, just last thoughts about the Progrid Omni 9. I would buy these even if they weren't the J tips. Like, if they dropped a solid colorway, whether it be like an all black pair with like, some hint of like reflective, or like if they dropped a tan colorway with like green hits, or if they dropped a colorway that was like fire, I would have no problem buying another shoe like this, just because like this shoe has so much potential, which I think J Tips took, full advantage of because of all the paneling. I mean, he has like this up here, he has all this that he could have played with, and like, the texture down here, and like, the back here, like there's so many panels on this shoe to play with. I want this, I want them to put this sneaker in the hands of like a Salehi. Again, I think J Tip, Salehi, Joe Freshgood are like some of the, as far as like sneaker designers, or like the concept of like making a dope sneaker, like they really pushing it, bro. Colorways, textures, and the silhouettes that they pick, like I think they have it up here when it comes to like, some people just got it, like they just got it, like they understand it. They can look at a sneaker and be like, yeah, I want to do this and X, Y, Z, and then they give you a product like this, which is just crazy to me. But again, the to-do list, fire shoe. Absolutely happy that I got it. Again, this is a sample pair. This isn't a pair that was done. I did like at the final production. I didn't get the box, which I might actually end up buying the tan pair. Honestly, even though I don't really like it that much, I would like to have both sets, just because I think they are dope sneakers, and I think I would want the box just to like kind of have it, to have as like a reference point when talking about, whether it be J Tips and his success, or, just these sneakers in general. I think the box is really dope as well, and I would want the box. But again, the Progrid Omni 9, J Tips, to-do list, fire shoe, the Progrid Omni 9 on its own. comfortable sneaker, and I think they are true to size. I really don't have much to add there. I think that was it. But without further ado, like I always do, I'll catch you in the next one.
But I love the way you work it. Hey, I love the way you work it for me.